Chattanooga Friends is a new group that someone else has started that they do a lot of events and then the proceeds go to charities. But again, it's networking. I mean, and then CreateHere is always having events. I mean, you just meet people and you just kind of, make your own Chattanooga family and network and grow from there because you have to just put yourself out there.
Yeah, I used to, like when in college, when people would say, you need to network with people, you need to meet people, do this. It really felt like the good old boys club, and I had to go, try to get in and impress the right people, and that was always kind of rubbing the wrong way. But I think what we're saying, and I would agree with, is that there is a social, and we are social as people, and that's a good thing. And I think, as opposed to, you hear the people say it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I don't like that, but I almost feel like it's both. It's what you know first, and then who you know that can plug you in to let you do what you know, essentially. So I don't know. I personally kind of rethought that and thought, well, yeah, that is the networking. It's just a social. I don't know. It's just an asset in the community. I guess it's been said already, but I would agree.
Something that's worked real well for me is just involvement with nonprofits because they're all, hurting. Like I remember a couple of years ago, I looked at the Read Chattanooga site. And it was broken. So I called up Lori Harrell and I said, "Your website's broken." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, will you come talk to us? Or, we've got a marketing committee and just, sit down and then it was like, do you want to be on the committee? And I was like, yeah. So what do you want to do, the rebranding? I said, yeah, that's great. And like, now do you want to be on the board? I go, yeah, great. And it's just a great network to be involved with because, you're rubbing elbows with people that are owners of businesses, people that are, that care. And if you are, like for United Way, if your interest is marketing, you're probably going to be in a marketing committee with other folks that have the same passion or training. But and plus you're giving back, so that's something that could work.
Yes. I have a question. I'm a rising third-year law student. I'm about to start applying for real jobs where I'll live in a real place for an extended period of time. And I really like Chattanooga. I'm from Murfreesboro, and I've watched it as it's changed over the years from afar. And I really like so many of the changes that I've seen. But I was wondering what you all think is the biggest challenge that Chattanooga still faces as a development of a kind of an up-and-coming city.
It's interesting that you asked that, and I'm going to let y'all answer, but I am going to tell you that you look around the room, you see all these people in yellow shirts, and you probably, do they have a?
They do.
Yes. You should have a little yellow brochure in your seat. That's a question that I think you're in good company asking, because there are a lot of people who want to know what challenges Chattanooga is facing, and the challenge has been put out there for a whole new generation of voices to answer that question together. And the STAND survey is the vehicle by which that challenge is being delivered. The STAND survey is trying to find 25,000 people to respond to 4 questions that say, what do we love, what's working, and basically what's next and how do we do it together. So while I think these people probably have some great ideas up here, one of the most important things that you guys can all do is literally take the time to fill out answers to those 4 questions and make sure that they get turned in. There are little black boxes all over the space that you can put your surveys in. And they're all being tabulated by a third party. And then the data is going to be searchable. So the only thing that you have to submit in addition to the answers to those 4 questions is your zip code. And then you'll be able to go back in after all the 25,000 surveys are collected, and you'll be able to search by zip code and see what this area likes or what that area likes, or you'll be able to look at it as a whole. And so maybe we'll have answers to those questions from a lot of people soon. And that said, what do you guys think?
I'll say a couple of things. One, just rely, Stan is hiring right now, and we need motivated people. Talk to Sarah Lester, I guess, would be the best person. Just plug into somebody here in a yellow shirt. To your question, I'm not going to claim to know what that biggest challenge is. I will say, though, we are at a pivotal time. And to Mark's point about Atlanta, it feels like Atlanta when it was cool, to paraphrase him. To me, it felt a little like Silicon Valley before it took off. We just landed Volkswagen. There's a lot that's about to happen. And I would make a plea to you guys who are obviously go-getters enough to come here and be interested, to stay around and help to shape this community. Because just as we talked about in the beginning of this meeting, it is the right size where you can actually play a role in shaping this community. It also just happens to be the right time. And you happen to be the right age and the right people, the right demographics. So let's do it. Stay here.
You know, like he's saying, like stay here. What's frustrated me is that, you know, I hear this a lot of people that are from Chattanooga. You know, like, I gotta get out. You know, I gotta go somewhere. I gotta do more, whatever. And, you know, I'm hearing this sense of tone of duty. You know, of like, you know, it's a really good time for Chattanooga, and Chattanooga's done a lot to get to this point. And that's why I love this stand things. I really think it's going to put out that type of messaging to keep more people here and to bring them in.
And even if you're not bound by duty, the place is getting cool. It is. It's the decade of Chattanooga is coming upon us. So even if you're not duty bound and you just want to be in a cool place, it hasn't been cool a lot before. You know, there's not a whole lot to do sometimes. There hasn't been in the past, but it is taking off. So even if you're just like a cool meister, you just want to hang out here, just take advantage of that, plug in and be a part of it. Fine, whatever your motivation is, stay here.
Any other thoughts or challenges? Preston has a big challenge ahead of him next year. Do you guys know what Take Root is? A couple people. Do you want to tell them what you did last year?
Take Root basically, like I said, it's an urban forestry project. We're trying to double the tree canopy cover in downtown, and it's Chattanooga's expanded central business district, which is basically downtown and would include this neighborhood and some of the neighborhoods around here. It's estimated to be about 7% canopy cover, meaning when you are flying over Chattanooga and you look down, that's how much green you see from the trees. It's recommended that it's closer to 15%, so we're trying to get that tree canopy up to 15%, while at the same time expanding Take Root into some new neighborhoods outside of that original area. So last year was our first year of actually operating, and we planted 600 trees, street trees along the streets here. You'll see some of them planted along the road. And so 600 on our way to, try to plant 1,500 total downtown and then move out from there. So I think that's our personal challenge is Take Root. But that fits into, that kind of opens up a whole other box of environmental sustainability challenges. I think from a sustainability aspect, we've got Volkswagen, and with that, the development and growth that's going to be associated with that. And that's a big challenge. There's a lot of potential to do that really poorly if it's not planned and managed well, and there's an opportunity for that to work out very well. And I know there's a lot of people in the city, including Anj, who are working toward the latter, making this growth and the actual livability of the physical city and the region just a healthy place to be. So that's a major one. And I know that speaking of places to plug in, I don't know how much you guys are familiar with the Climate Action Plan. Chattanooga has basically created this document, and it's called a Climate Action Plan. It basically it steps out, it gives action steps toward reducing greenhouse gas emissions And essentially,